Good evening and welcome to the all-new Dizdad's Playhouse with your hosts, Tim Hicks, Willie Crocker, and Aaron Rittmaster. Dizdad's Playhouse is brought to you by Mousemaster Travel and Wicked Mouse Travel, both of which are authorized Disney vacation planners who would love to help with your next Disney destination vacation. All right, welcome back to the Dizdad's Playhouse. I'm your host, Aaron Rittmaster, and our countdown has already begun, so we should get rolling with this. This is our top five. How did we call this one again? Reliably
shortest lines.
Yeah, reliably short lines. Sorry, top five reliably short lines at Walt Disney World, and let's see. Looks like. All right, Tim, there you are.
Here we go.
You're up, and I'm going to reset our countdown. It's only fair. Go ahead.
Okay, that works. Okay, reliably short lines. My number 5 is Carousel of Progress. I've never had to wait until for anything except the next door to open to be able to get on that one. And I'm the nostalgia guy. I love that stuff. So that made my number 5. Number 4, Living with the Land. Very seldom does that wait get longer than just a few minutes? Sometimes it does, but not very often. My number 3 is Muppet Vision 3D. It used to be a bit more of a wait to get into the show. Not anymore. Last time I was there in September, it was just like, herding cattle into the big preview room and then herding them right on into the auditorium. Number 2, Spaceship Earth Afternoon. If you go the front gate, when rope drops, that Spaceship Earth line will be very, very long. But afternoon, 5 minutes. Only an ever. And my number 1, which I've done several times, is the single rider line for Smuggler's Run. And I kind of think that people don't necessarily know where it is because it's you go a separate direction and it's all just strange hallways and stairs, and you don't even know where you're going until you get to the top of the stairs, and there you are.
All right. Well, now, see, Tim, I got to say, I feel like you're playing a little fast and loose with the rules here. You're giving us time limitations and single rider lines. I went with a more straightforward list. And I think, one of the things we see here is a little bit of a theme that's related to, Muppet Vision 3D, which you went with. Enchanted Tiki Room. I mean, it's a classic. You get to enjoy the show, and it cycles quickly, especially after the last revision of the show, because they cut the show, made it a little bit shorter, so it cycles faster, less wait. Number 4, I think this one is an underrated low weight attraction, and that's the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. You may get held in the pens outside, for one cycle, but the show's not that long. I've never been held for more than one cycle, at least not in a long time. Number 3, Carousel of Progress. It would be higher on my list. The only reason Carousel of Progress is here at 3 is because too often you're not entirely sure whether the dog's head is going to be attached or, Uncle Orville is going to be missing a hand. The upkeep on the attraction has been a little disappointing. But I still love the show. Great air conditioning. It's a great, the length of the show is a little longer, but because there are multiple theaters and it's sort of got overlapping shows, you get a nice long experience in the air conditioning without having to wait quite as long to get in. It could be a nap. I like the show.
Not if you're singing along.
That's true.
Number 2, Grand Fiesta Tour. I hear mixed reports now on whether they are preventing people from carrying their drinks on the attraction. Last I'd heard that officially, at least, they weren't letting people bring drinks on the attraction, and that knocks it down a little bit. Otherwise, it would be number 1, because how do you beat an attraction with no wait where you get to just walk on with a margarita? But now that they're Yeah, now that they're telling you can't bring your margaritas on, it gets down. You bump down a little bit to number two, but it's an attraction that there's not a whole lot there, but I love the three caballeros animatronic that they added in, and that kind of kicks it up a little bit for me. And number one is an attraction that you know, and it was close. It was between this and one other, and maybe we'll talk if there's time at the end about the other one. But I went with It's a Small World. It's a classic, um, Fantasyland attraction, but it loads quickly. The boats are big. And as long as you don't have any ride breakdowns that slow things down, it doesn't back up. Now, I understand there are exceptions, certain times of day when it gets bad, but I think those are the exception. Maybe
I
I'm
don't think so.
I'm off
Every
on that
time
one,
I
but
walk by there, the sea of strollers looks like Nick Cannon's children
sure, there's a
are all
sea
on
of
the ride at
strollers,
once.
but it moves. It's a sea of strollers, but you're not
Two
waiting in that
wheelchairs and
line.
a scooter, and that ride an hour long.
Yeah.
I, and that I understand. There are times where it can bog down because of those factors, but as long as the line's moving, it's a nice long attraction. All right, Willie, take us home. What's your top five?
So I'm going to start with 5 Grand Fiesta Tour. Like Aaron was saying, you used to be able to bring your drinks on, now you can't. But it's still an easy walk-on ride, and it's still a good ride. Like you said, the Caballeros are there, and you just get to see some cliff diving in Acapulco to all the fun ideas in Mexico. So it's a great ride for just a quick, easy, air-conditioned ride. Number 4, single rider at Everest. I'm kind of cheating there a little, but you know, it's a quick, easy load. If you're not there with friends or family, or you just want to ride a second time, it's a quick load. And you can take a lot of fun pictures with someone that's never ridden next to you. So, number 3, Muppets Vision 3D. Absolutely amazing. Quick, like Tim said, you can literally walk down, wait for the show to end, and walk right on the ride. You get in a nice, comfy seat, enjoy the movie, and you'll be out in 14 to 17 minutes, and it's a great time. Number 2, the TTA People Mover. If that line is very long, there's been a problem in Tomorrowland. So literally, you're going to walk right on, enjoy I think it's about 9-minute ride, and just really see all of Tomorrowland. Has a good place, and you are allowed to bring beverages on there. They're just not alcoholic. And the number one, I still think, is Living with the Land. It's such an easy, fun ride. Once you walk off Soarin', you walk right over to Living with the Land, you get on, and you have a great experience. I still think it's one of the most underrated rides at Epcot, and most people don't even know it's there. So,
Yeah, Living with the Land was one of the last things that was cut from my list. My last couple of experiences with Living to the Land, I just felt like the greenhouse has been a little underwhelming compared to in the past. I don't know if it's sort of in transition or what, but there just seemed to be less compelling stuff to see as we went through there. Um, and I will admit, TTA People Mover, if I had cheated and looked at yours before I made my list, it probably would have bumped out It's a Small World because I think it's a great choice. I love People Mover. And they had a bit of a rough time. I think it was last summer where they were having a hard time keeping the attraction running. But they seem to have gotten that taken care of, and now that it's running reliably, we're back to the TTA People Mover we all love. Um, the other attraction that almost made it to the top of my list was Dumbo. And it's one that bears mentioning because it's gone from being, one of the great sort of time sucks of Magic Kingdom to being almost no wait. And it's almost a victim of its own success. I mean, part of the new Fantasyland redo was about reducing the wait time at Dumbo because it was a must do for families and people were complaining about the wait, so they went to this double Dumbo, and now all of a sudden nobody ever has to wait and people don't even talk about the ride anymore.
well, I also think them moving Dumbo out of main part of Fantasyland really helped. Because we
Yeah.
used to stand in the sun for 45 minutes to ride for what, 45 seconds?
Right.
You get a
Well, yeah,
sunburn and then
and I think that it did. And moving it out of the location it was in means you get fewer people who are riding just because it's there,
correct.
Yep.
right?
You
The
have to
people
know
riding
where it
are
is.
people who have specifically gone to ride it, but the fact remains that it's still a classic Disney attraction, and there's almost no wait ever at Dumbo anymore.
And if there is, the kids have a place to play.
Right, right.
Sure enough.
That's true.
And
Um,
if you're like me and trying to get your kid to go on a scary ride, you say, "Oh, it's just like the Dumbo ride."
Yeah, perfect response.
I have
sure,
done that.
Tim.
I have totally done that.
One was gonna make my list was Under the Seas with Nemo over at
Yeah.
Epcot,
Mhm. Yep.
but it just didn't make the list.
No, and I mean, I had a similar, uh, um, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on Imagination with Figment, right? Because it
Yes,
kind of could go on the list most of the time, but then every so often,
40
its
minutes.
weights like jump up to 20, 25 minutes, and it doesn't belong anymore. So,
Yep.
all right, so that's our countdown, and I hope you enjoyed that. We like talking about getting to enjoy attractions without having to have a long wait. Um, But we're going to move on from that to another topic here. And I don't know, Tim, why don't you kind of introduce our main segment?
Yeah. Our main segment, we're going to talk about some really cool experiences around the parks during the holidays. Am I getting this right?
Yes.
Right. Well,
And
and not just in
yeah,
the parks,
right. Not
but
just in the
around
parks,
Walt Disney World Resort for the holidays.
yes, because my top two things that are holiday themed are the lobbies of the Grand Floridian and the lobby of the Wilderness Lodge. The most huge Christmas tree you'll see, it just makes you feel like, well, an elf, right? 'Cause it is just so big. And then some all the stuff that goes on in the lobby of the Grand Floridian is just it can be a real time suck itself, all by itself.
Well, yeah, and I think
I
you've
can.
left out my favorite part of the Grand Floridian lobby. I mean, the big tree is cool, but even cooler is a gingerbread house that you can actually walk inside. I mean,
Yep.
with when you see the smoke coming up out of the chimney, and that just blew me away the first time I saw it, and it smells terrific because it smells like gingerbread.
Don't they have a competition too at some point where cast members actually compete
Oh,
to
oh,
create gingerbread houses?
I think they have had it. I don't know that they do it, show them publicly anymore, but
Yeah, that may
I
have
know
gone
they
out.
did it pre-COVID. I haven't seen it since COVID. So,
Right. I wish they'd
uh,
bring it back though, if that's the case, because
right,
that was
right.
really pretty cool too.
Yeah.
How about you, Willie? What's one of your favorite things about holidays around property?
Well, I mean, the gingerbread houses are absolutely amazing. The one over at the Contemporary is very, very cool. It's over by the glass window on the fourth floor. But I also like um, the Halloween, the Christmas parties at both Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Aaron and I went to one and we got rained out, but I've also been to the Christmas party and I've had eggnog and cookies, and it's been absolutely amazing. Santa coming down Main Street is really cool with the snow, or as they like to call it,
Nope.
Snope. it's it's really they do a really nice job of decorating the parks with the holidays. Um, and they include all holidays, which I really like. You see the part of the Christmas, but then like Aaron and I saw in what was it, Hollywood Studios, the Hanukkah area,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
we saw the Kwanzaa, and they went into multiple parks of multiple holidays at that time of year, and it was really nice to just see.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
They do a good job with it, and the fact that they expanded the parties and brought the one over to Hollywood Studios, I think that's an interesting experiment. We'll see how it goes. I don't know have we heard because I think they've only had one of those so
one,
far.
yeah.
And I haven't seen much review of it yet, so I'll be kind of watching for that. But um,
But a lot of us
I
are
think
still wishing for the Osborne family lights in Hollywood studios, and
they're not
That's
coming
not coming
back.
that
back.
ship sailed
Not
long ago.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
not happening. And I'm not upset about the trade off. I actually saw somebody on social media fussing about, you know, we lost the Osborne lights and all we got for it was Galaxy's Edge. Okay, first
Um,
of
Oh,
all. Second
oh,
of
is
all,
that all?
no, we got Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, both of
correct. Yeah,
which
2
would
for
not
1.
have existed if those areas had been preserved for the Osborne lights. So the lights were cool, but let's understand that the lights were there as a filler because there wasn't enough to do in Hollywood studios. It's not the
Correct.
other way around. So, I'm not going to complain that the lights were replaced with actual attractions. The lights were cool. I loved them. I went to an after hours party to experience the lights with a smaller crowd, and it was well worth the extra money I spent. It was fantastic. But it wasn't better than getting to spend an evening at Slinky Dog and Galaxy's Edge, and
Sure.
just was not even close.
No.
Um, I I think that I like that they brought a party to Hollywood Studios because I think it helps relieve some of the pressure. Like the parties, I think were getting maybe a little overwhelming because they were selling more tickets because there was so much demand for it, and I think it was beginning to devalue the parties a little bit. So I'm hoping that by dispersing the crowds a little bit, they'll bring more value into the experience of the people that are going to the parties.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that Hollywood Studios is bringing back um, uh, Jingle Bell Jingle Bam as
That
part
was awesome.
of the part of that holiday party. They'll use that for the holiday fireworks there, so that'll be nice. Um, and I really love just the way they handle it in Epcot with the holidays around the world stuff going on in the various countries. It adds another layer of interest to what's happening in the countries. It draws the focus to the pavilions themselves as opposed to the food booths a little bit, which I like. I mean, festivals are nice, but I appreciate that we get a little something more during Festival of the Holidays in the countries themselves.
Right. Show me how you celebrate Christmas in name a place: Germany, Italy, Morocco,
Norway,
whatever.
Germany,
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Just to correct us, we have not had a Jollywood Nights yet. It will be on November 11th.
Okay. So I knew it was coming right around the corner. So it's like this weekend.
Right.
Um,
And it is sold
the
out. So
yeah, yeah, and I think it looks like it's going to be on the smaller side as compared to the Magic Kingdom parties, which makes sense because Hollywood Studios is a smaller park. Um, so I also think we sometimes forget about the deluxe resorts that are not on the Magic Kingdom side of things. The Epcot resorts do a really nice job as well. I think I would call out. Uh, I think it's Boardwalk in particular that has the carousel, the gingerbread carousel.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
Boardwalk or Beach Club?
that
no,
was Yacht Club.
Oh, or Yacht
yeah.
Club? I know
I
it.
was thinking,
I
But
knew,
it's
I knew it was one of
one
the
of them
three.
over on the boardwalk area
Yeah, it's
has a
on that Boardwalk
cool.
area. But the gingerbread carousel was the one that was most impressive to me because I mean I had already been blown away by the gingerbread physical house that you could walk into, but then to see the carousel that actually moves and is made out of gingerbread. I
Right.
mean, it was like took it up another notch even higher.
yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
they
some more
do
men. So what's that?
they just do an amazing job with all the gingerbread all around. And I mean, I just can't imagine what they do with it, but I did find out that it's fed to the bees.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
So they don't throw it away. It's fed to the bees. And I learned that on a tour, which is really nice to know that we're not getting rid of it. And the bees basically feed off it and
Right. It's not garbage.
pollinate. Right.
Yeah. Create
That's great.
gingerbread honey.
Yeah. So, so um,
Anybody else have a particularly fun holiday experience that they like around property somewhere?
Hmm.
I will say, let me add this out of left field a little bit, but um, one holiday change that I really appreciated is, and I noticed it. When was it that we were in? Maybe it might have been Willie when we were there together. Just I think it was that last winter before the pandemic when we were there for the Christmas party.
At the Earmark conference.
Yeah, um, because I noticed that the holiday music loop at the Polynesian had finally been updated. I don't know if you remember what it was before, but the holiday music loop at the Polynesian, there were parts of it that were just awful, just like disturbingly bad, um, and like uncomfortable, borderline racist music, um, just because it was made a bit of a mockery of Polynesian culture, and it made me really uncomfortable. And I was glad to hear that that was gone.
So now you get Mele Kalikimaka on loop.
On repeat.
There was a little more than that, but
On blast.
One thing I do really like, and I've only done it once, is the Christmas tree stroll over at Disney Springs. It's very different. You start usually over the end, over the west side by City Side, and there's trees all over the place that you could just like, I don't want to say walk through, but there's just areas that are like, they're basically really neat to look at, and they're all different designed Christmas trees.
it seemed to me almost like a corn maze out of Christmas trees.
Correct. But they do them all like differently, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool. Unlike corn, where it's all the same. And then there's the area where Santa Claus is and things like that, which is nice.
sure.
That's fun.
I think it's worth noting for people who were expecting, because this is something that was a recent policy change. I know that a lot of people liked to go and check out the cabins or the campsites at Fort Wilderness, because a lot of the folks who were RV camping there would really kind of pull out all the stops and decorate their RVs and campsites, and they still do that. But um, I think that the non resort guests who were touring was getting overwhelming, and so they're limiting access to the campgrounds to people who have a reservation there, which is only fair and reasonable, really.
Sure.
Once again, that's why we can't have nice things.
Right,
Right.
right.
But if you are staying at the cabins during Halloween or Christmas, you need to travel around the park. It is out of this world. These people bring Christmas decorations that are out of this world. Like, I've seen the Halloween and the Christmas, and it's over the top, like Griswold Christmas.
Wow.
It's insane. I don't know where they store it all in their trailers when they're coming down, because there's so much stuff.
Right.
just
Well,
a
and they've got to be running extra generators or something,
Oh,
because
definitely.
unless it's a Clark Griswold, multi-plug.
Right.
There is that.
Yeah.
You know,
Rusty.
the next time all the power goes down at on the next time all the power goes down on the west side of Magic Kingdom, we'll know why.
Yeah. Down goes Hoopty Doo again.
And I think that some of the best things about the holidays at Walt Disney World are the unplanned, unscheduled, not don't take an admission ticket, just the atmosphere around the resort, as you visit the different resorts and you find the fun things that they're doing with decor, the the soundtracks are all different, there's one we didn't mention. The little tweaks they do to some of the attractions throughout the time period.
That's right.
So Jingle Cruise, for example, is one of the better
Right.
ones, where it started out a little rough, I think, the first season, but I think they've refined it, and I think it's a much better experience now, and they have a lot of fun. The skippers get to change things up a bit, and you get
New jokes.
another another round of a fresh round of old jokes, right?
We don't get the Country Bear Christmas anymore, do we?
No,
That was
no,
terrible
and
to
even though
break.
Country Bears is supposed to be getting some kind of a refresh at the moment, I don't think we're getting more, show variety, which is kind of I don't understand why they abandoned that. I mean, it
It
can't
was
have
good
cost them that much
if
extra.
you like that kind of
I
um,
mean, eh,
humor.
right? If you're going to make it worth visiting, to change it up. But I guess supposedly we're this reimagination of Country Bears that's coming is supposed to give us all new music. So
All new country style Country
right,
Bear music, which
right,
will be good.
yeah. I mean, ones that aren't quite so much into making child
50s.
abuse sound funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there any other rides that are done over? Because Jingle Cruise is the only one I can think of. Disneyland has the
right, Disneyland has several others, but
right.
um,
Can't think of
anything
any.
else?
I really can't think of anything else.
No, because they don't do anything
I
with
mean, they
with
put
Mansion.
little like hidden Mickeys here and there, like in certain rides when you're like living with the land, you'll see Christmas trees and
Sure,
things like that. But it's not a full on blown Christmas
Right.
ride or holiday ride.
right, overlay or anything.
Can you
Right?
imagine how the animals would respond if you tried to do that on Kilimanjaro safaris?
Yeah. Well, they might want them.
Yeah, can I eat that?
Yeah. uh,
Um, Now, the one thing I will mention, for people who want to experience the holidays at Walt Disney World, I think all of us would agree that the best way to do it is to do it in the off time, kind of in between holidays, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to approach this time here where, like, between now, which is the beginning of November, and Thanksgiving, the crowd levels are going to be a little bit lower. You're going to be able to appreciate the decorations and all of that a little more because you're not going to
Mhm.
be having to fight through crowds to do it. We're going to see crowd levels spike up for Thanksgiving and kind of the week following, but then they'll dip back down at the very end of November and into the first full week and maybe first week and a half, 2 weeks of December. Um, and then you'll see the crowd levels spike back up through the end of December. So there are those two lull periods before and after Thanksgiving that are probably the best times to get to go and experience all of this.
And if you're the type that likes to, swim in the cesspool of people in Manhattan, then definitely go, for New Year's Eve at Disney World. I'm just saying.
Epcot or Magic Kingdom, both of them are going to be extremely
Packed.
full. Yep.
Yeah.
You
Hardly
won't
room.
see anything but the backside of people's heads,
Hmm.
iPads and kids on shoulders. So
Now, the fireworks happen nice and high up in the sky. You get to see the show. It's a heck of a show.
it is a
Um,
heck of a show.
and that's true in Magic Kingdom and in Epcot. They do a really nice job with those fireworks shows, and they usually do them for at least 2 days. So they'll do them for at least New Year's Eve, usually at least New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and sometimes there's a third day depending on kind of how things fall.
Given
I think
that
this
New
year
Year's
they'll
Day is
probably do it 3 times
Monday.
because
What?
yeah, because I think they'll do it a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday
Yeah.
Yeah,
because of the way the holiday falls this year. Yeah.
right. That's what I was thinking. And this year, I think we're going to see some of the largest New Year's crowds really we've seen in a very long time because of the way that Marathon Weekend backs right up to New Year's, just because of the way the calendar is constructed.
Hmm.
Right. Because there's a lot of schools that are off January 1 through January 5 because New Year's is on a Monday.
Right. And they wait till the next full week.
As Christmas is.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
No
be
thanks.
ready for New Year's Eve crowds, like Tim was saying, in New York City.
Yep.
So
Um,
essentially, from December 18th through January 7th, be ready for crowds.
yeah. Now, that said, there is one bright spot in all of that, which is that during that period, I believe it starts not quite on the 18th. I think December 21st is when they said that the Christmas parade would start being part of the regular attractions of Magic Kingdom. So you don't have to pay extra and go to the party. They basically add some of the party attractions into the regular park entertainment cycle. Um, it's because the parks are so crowded and they want to make sure people get value for the park ticket they paid for. So you might not get as many rides, or you might wait longer in rides, but you also might get an opportunity to see, some of the entertainment that you wouldn't see outside of the parties otherwise. And
But
that
you won't see
usually,
the fireworks.
right, you won't see the fireworks, but the parade and some of that entertainment will run like December 21st through 26th or something like that.
Which is a
Um,
nice bonus.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap up our quick little holiday review here, um, just let's do a quick round robin of have you when was the last time you were at Walt Disney World for a holiday period like that, and what did you like best about it? And I know, Tim, it's been a while, so you're trying to think, but Willie,
Well,
go
I'm trying
ahead.
to think of nothing happens. No, I honestly think it was in January 2020, just before COVID
Oh,
hit,
okay.
because we were there, right after New Year's, and then went on a cruise right
Oh,
after
okay.
that.
So what was your
So
favorite part of it?
something that nobody mentioned, and that's the lights on Cinderella Castle.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's just the best. It
I
just looks
love
like
those
it's
icicle lights and the way they reflect in the
shining
moat
like
there.
diamonds.
Oh, just stunning.
Yeah.
Absolutely my favorite. How about you, Willie?
I think I was there November 2021, and we did the Christmas party.
Right.
And my kids, we really enjoyed like the Christmas lights and the just the full on fireworks show. That it's a different show, and that's
Yeah.
always nice to see.
Right.
And I think it was like one of those things where I was like, wow, they really did do a different show for once.
Yeah. Yeah. And to their credit, I noticed it for the Halloween show. This is the new Halloween show that we saw a couple of weeks ago. And I was blown away. It was a fantastic show. They did a really nice job with it.
Yeah. Well, they
And
do that
I was
180.
prepared to be cranky because Hollow Wishes was always my favorite show, but
Mm-hmm.
the new one was plenty good.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, we'd love to hear about the things that you enjoy about the holidays at Walt Disney World.
I'm
You
sure we
can
will
reach out.
happen.
You can reach out to us individually. You can get Tim by emailing,
Tim.Hicks at fantasticmemoriestravel.com.
and you can get in touch with Willie at,
Willie, Willie, at wickedmousetravel.com.
or you can email me at Aaron, Aaron, at mousemastertravel.com. And we've had a great time talking about the holidays at Walt Disney World, and talking about attractions that are reliably ones that don't have a long wait. We'd love to hear your thoughts on those as well. What attractions did we miss that are commonly ones with short waits? Tell us all about it. We look forward to hearing it. And hey, a reminder, this is a new version of the show, which means it's an all new podcast feed. That means that your reviews and your ratings make even more difference than they've ever made before. If we want people to be able to find the show, your ratings and reviews make all the difference. So if you could please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you find the show, we would very much appreciate it. Until next time, I've been your host, Aaron Rittmaster, with my trusty co hosts, Willie Crocker
Have a wicked wild night.
and Tim Hicks.
Bah humbug. We'll see you real soon.